So New Zealand 33, Australia 13, the first of the final round games in the Rugby Championship. New Zealand getting it done with a second half shutout of Australia. Not overly pretty, but effective, some good tries. Australia incredibly competitive in the first half and then fell away completely and dominating the second half. So there's some positives, there's some negatives for Australia. New Zealand, not the best performance, but still a good win, bonus point win, puts them up to second for the moment. So I guess it's job done, but still not completely convincing. Let's go through the game, pick up some of the key themes, because it was a very exciting first half, especially. The Australian scrum looking good from the off. It looked good all game. We know Tupu, we know Bell are good props, good scrummagers, although Tupu in the war straight away. He gets some injuries, that guy, that's for sure. And one tactic that Australia did well all game is sweeping around quickly to the blind side. Kellaway completely catches New Zealand napping. Satiti is caught in the scrum but is busy having his hands out appealing to the ref rather than trying to get free. They grub her ahead and Gordon maybe should have scored right then in the first minute. And what I like about the Australia attack in this opening 5-10 minutes is they're focusing on ball retention. They're not going crazy from the off. It's building pressure. It's not completely dangerous. It's not breaking through, but it's definitely testing New Zealand as they're tackling well. Caleb Clark having to make a couple of good tackles on right. That's Australia's quickest player, so they're holding out well, but they are offside, which they were a few times in this game. Sheer weight of possession pays off there, and McWright powers over, so it's the perfect start for Australia. Controlled and a try, 0-7, lovely touchline conversion from Loloseo, so perfect, accurate start for the Wallabies. And it carries on for the first 10 minutes. Lovely hands from Loloseo, taking a really tricky pass, the sort of thing maybe he would have dropped in previous games. He feeds Iki Tau, who burned Sam Cane for pace. Sam Cane was done a bit. He was a bit flat-footed in this game at times. Then some knife offloading. They make 50 metres. And we've seen a bit of everything in the opening 10 minutes. We've seen them move the ball, play tight, maul, scrum, all that sort of thing. Peach was good as well, good power. Excited to see him in the selection video. I thought he'd be good. He was. And then Sam Cane told hands off in the ruck, but he doesn't. And it's not a good start for 100 cap Cane, but they can't get any more points there. Then on 13 minutes, we see the first shots fired from New Zealand. Will Jordan slotting in his first receiver. He had a really good game at fullback. He'll be very happy with that. Definitely one of the bright sparks. And then we have nice hands freeing Caleb Clark, but McWright just about saves the day with a really sharp jackal there. So dangerous signs from New Zealand in attack, and they carried on all game looking very dangerous, that is for sure, particularly players like Will Jordan, Satiti. Then the next attacking gem was from a turnover from Ardi Surveyor, and that man Satiti turns Fezler inside out, stunning footwork, burst of pace clear, and the offload to Leonard Brown, and the pass on the move perfectly to Reese to finish. That was a cracking try, maybe their best of the match. So we had Ardi Surveyor and Ardi Surveyor Mark II showing their class. 5-7, and yeah, Satiti he's the find of the tournament for sure. For New Zealand, people thought he had the class, he had the ability, and he has shown it, and some good experience given to him, so that's a big positive. But one thing New Zealand weren't doing so well were their exit plays. It was a good tree trunk jackal from Tanileo Tupu, who plants himself in the ground. They get a penalty from that, so Australia push a bit further ahead, 5-10, and penalties were a bit of a problem in this game, certainly in the first half. Clark gives away a really soft one for just taking a player in the air clumsily, not bad but clumsy. Then on 21 minutes we get another try, and New Zealand don't really have to do a lot apart from just get the ball to Will Jordan, and he does the rest, stepping and slipping past players. Wilson then McWright to street clear, bit of a solo try really, 12-10. But those exits again for New Zealand, they weren't very good, making a mess of it. Perenara with a horrible slice clearance, inviting Australia back onto them. Good defence from New Zealand again, because they're not really making gain line, but they are at least softening up New Zealand with the forward carries, but Tupu is pushed into touch. So decent defence for New Zealand, but kind of putting themselves under pressure. Indeed, New Zealand turned down some points from 35 metres to try to go to the corner. Not the best kick. Peach, starting from outside the pitch, jumps to the inside to catch the ball, denying that line out. Impressive play from him for sure. Then unfortunately Sam Cane gets stepped again and burned from Tom Wright this time, but he throws a wild pass, something he can do but hasn't done in this Rugby Championship. He has the touch of the Damien McKenzie sometimes, so that blows a bit of a chance there for Australia. I mean, Australia had plenty of chances in this half And on 33 minutes, another good scrum. Bell and Tupu monitoring the New Zealand one this time, winning a penalty, getting in that All Blacks 22 for some good pressure and a bit better variation this time. Valentini bouncing off Taylor, that was good. Mountains of phases. McWright is over but held up, but they get a penalty, so it goes to 12-13, Australia back ahead. And just as I start writing, Australia have had the best of this half. The last shot is fired by New Zealand with Caleb Clark launching a really good counter-attack. You've got Will Jordan, Caleb Clark, Satiti, so dangerous, especially on the turnover. McWright just about makes a tackle in time, but it's a penalty, and you think they're going to take 3 points, retake the lead just before half-time. But no, they go to the corner, maul, pretty patient, and then swing the ball to the right, then back to the left. Australia are shooting up in defence, which can be good if you get the man, but they don't get the man, so there's just big holes there, and Beauden Barrett spots it, and Clark hits a killer line for a really good try. So at half-time, you probably still would say Australia are the better all-round team with more solid basics, mixing up their attack a bit better, but New Zealand show their try-scoring power with Satiti, with Jordan, with Clark. The rest of the game not looking so great at the moment. But all the good news for Australia is left in the first half as New Zealand basically just shut them out of the second half. Not classic play from the All Blacks. I mean, the first 10 minutes sums it up where they're just dominating possession but showing how not to capitalise on it. They're changing up their attack. They're maybe attacking a bit closer than in the first half and then spreading the ball when it's on maybe. But Lomax is caught out. He's not ready. He drops the ball cold from one build-up. New Zealand again dominating possession. Beauden Barrett bashes up a bomb, but nobody's chasing. Don't quite know what happened there. Satiti orchestrating another great break, but Perenara just has the ball stripped off him by Kellaway like candy off a baby, and indeed Perenara drops another one a minute later, and then the 10th New Zealand penalty. They're making a hash of things. I mean, they've got the possession, they've got the territory, but yeah, not great. And then just to cap it off for Perenara, he gets a penalty in halfway. They could kick deep into the corner, but he taps it to go quick, drops it, then turns around and blames the ref. I mean, normally Perenara would be taken off at this point, but it's his last game in his home stadium. So a bit of sentiment there. Let me know if you think that's right or wrong. But yeah, it was a bit of a shocker. Let's just say it how it is. And it carries on like that for another 5 minutes possession without much happening until a bit of individual brilliance again. Will Jordan with an amazing running counter-attack and the fresh sub, Tamatai Williams, crashing over after more long possession. So the dam breaks there in the second half, 26-13. And this is the similar position that we've had for New Zealand, ahead with about 20 minutes to go. Can they finish strong this time, or can Australia make an amazing comeback again? Well, the answer is the former. Australia don't come back. On 60 minutes, just more and more possession for New Zealand. Australia are creaking, Taylor bursting off well from the back of two mauls. Vai powers over, and it looks like they've scored their first points in the last 20 minutes of this Rugby Championship. But no, the TMO sees a knock-on or two in the build-up, so no try. And then a couple of minutes later, the try does come, and it's Satiti, the man with the spark. Phenomenal burst of pace and power. D-Max on as well, good pace injected, confusion. Maybe that's where he thrives, coming on when the game's breaking up a little bit. His second touch sucks in two wide defenders really nicely, creating space for Caleb Clark out wide for a powerful finish. And there we go, we do get points in the last 20 minutes, 33-13. You know, we do see the double-edged sword of D-Max, injections of pace as he throws a wild offload in his own half, and Australia nearly score, and that's kind of the sum up of his championship, shall we say. Sam Cane goes off, his last a game in New Zealand, and again those two guys with their last games in New Zealand, not with the greatest games, maybe the best time to go, but they get a good standing ovation. Now it's taken half an hour in this second half, but Australia finally get a chance to score, again with wrapping around to blind as their main strategy. They're a few metres away from the line, but unfortunately Harry Wilson drops it cold, and that is the game, you'd think. But D-Max slices his clearance to touch, gives him one more chance, but the sub-prop Tossi, he jackals to end any hope for Australia. So you would say that the subs made a bit of an impact this time for New Zealand, which is good. We get another cynical offside though from Caleb Clark, which is too much for the referee. It's a yellow, but Australia, they can't make anything of it, and they've been shut out of the second half. So New Zealand, not at their best, but they've got enough attacking potential there with the likes of Satiti, Jordan, Caleb Clark, D-Mac coming on a bit later, creating a bit of chaos to get them over the line, and it's the bonus point win. Will they stay in second place? We'll see, because at the time of recording, Argentina haven't played. So let me know what you thought of that game. In the first half, lots of signs of positiveness for Australia, but if they can't get a touch in the second half, they're not going to win games. New Zealand, they're a good side, they're very, very dangerous, but not looking completely joined together. Is it filling you full of hope for the tour to the Northern Hemisphere in November? Love to know your thoughts on this one. Comments down below. Do like, do subscribe. That would be awesome if you like these sorts of videos. And I'll catch you next time.